Well, it's a beautiful day here in Annapolis, Maryland. It's great to see you all. Thank you for coming. And I'd like to introduce my friend, Nat Benjamin. Hi, Nat. Say hi.
Hi, good to see you all.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Well, I was just telling Nat, I've had a wonderful day here in Annapolis. It's been sunny, not too hot, which is pretty unusual. And the sails are on my boat. Woohoo! I first met Nat after reading Michael Ruhlman's book, Wooden Boats. And my friend Jack Zeraw said, well, what you've got to do is stop by the Gannon Benjamin Marine Railway as we went up towards the Gloucester Schooner Festival last summer, which is exactly what we did. We stopped in and spent a scary night trying to drop anchor in a crowded anchorage as the ferry boats came by and nobody had lights. But then there you go. That's what great stories are made of. It's all good. But I had a nice visit with Nat on his boat, Charlotte, and we chatted about all sorts of things. And in that conversation, I realized that I had met a truly extraordinary person, and I'd like a chance to introduce you all to him. Not only is Nat one of the greatest boat builders and his company, Gannon and Benjamin, in North America and well respected, Nat and his wife, Pam, have a wonderful outreach program to Haiti, of all places. And of course, Haiti is a spot that many of us know very, very little about. And so he has graciously agreed to take us on that trip, tell us a little bit about how they got connected, how they got down there, and stuff like that. Nat, are you ready to hit the share button?
I sure am.
Oh, the excitement, the excitement. All right.
Okay, there's the button. Now I hit it again here.
And here we go. We have got your picture, my friend.
Okay. Now, just so I'm sure here, if I want to advance, I just hit the bottom arrow, right?
I think so. Try your arrows and see how they work.
Click on it, I think. Yep. Okay.
Now,
All right.
is there a way to full screen your picture? Maybe down the lower left corner, something like that.
Let's see.
Just a little more left. Says north. See, it says normal view. Come down a little. Yeah, right there. Up. Try that.
That one?
That says slideshow.
Yeah. Bingo.
Oh, great.
Good.
All right, we're ready when you are. Tell us all
now,
about it.
Do I hit stop share?
No, you're perfect. Don't do anything.
No.
Let's say hi to Pam. Hey, Pam.
Okay. Pam, come say hi.
Oh. Hi.
These are the two that are responsible for this. So, Pam, I don't want you to go too far.
Okay, I'm right here.
All right,
not too far away.
We need it for a fact check.
I like it. It looks great. It sounds great. Tell us a little bit about your trip here, guys.
Well, we've made a few trips to Haiti, and this particular series of photographs was taken on a trip we did in 2014. We had been, a few years before, we had been up to the north coast to Cap Haitian and Labadie, and we loved it. We had a great trip, and we brought a lot of supplies for the boat builders and so forth.
And how did you originally choose Haiti as a destination?
Well, my friend Ted Oakey sailed down to Haiti in about 2008 and said, Nat, if you want a new frontier in the Caribbean, and we did, we had been sailing for 40 years down the Windward Islands and the Bahamas and all over, and we were eager to find something new and exciting. So he said, try Haiti and try Cuba. And boy, was he right. These are new frontiers that are just fascinating places.
Isn't that cool? Let me take just a moment here. For those of you who are joining us now, we have both a chat and we have a Q&A screen running. Nat's going to give his presentation, and if you have questions along the way, please type them into Q&A, and we'll be glad to loop back on it. And also in the chat. Chat should be open to everyone. And as we go along talking, just type in where you're from. I'll start and I'll just type in Annapolis, Maryland. And I hope you all can see that, and away we go. So type your questions as you go. We'll loop back to them. Nat, it's back to you, my friend.
Okay. Well, this picture that you see here is Charlotte, our schooner Charlotte, that we built at our boatyard. Gannon Benjamin designed her and built her right here. She's 50 feet on deck, 14-foot beam, 7-foot draft, good husky offshore boat. Really, we built her for our family and friends to go places, to charter, to day sail, to do pretty much everything. So she's been very good to us, and she's a versatile boat. The schooner rig, as you all know, I don't tell you, is so adaptable to different conditions, and you have so many options for sail changes and sail plans. It's just a really great offshore cruising boat. And excuse me. So as I was saying earlier, my friend Ted Oakey made a trip to Haiti, and he said, boy, if you want something new, this is where you got to go. So we went down right after the earthquake in 2010, thinking maybe we could be of some help, and we brought a lot of supplies. And we realized right away that we were going to stay clear of Port-au-Prince, because it was just such an absolute train wreck. But we did go to, we went to Cap-Haïtien and Labadie, which we loved. And we did, disperse lots of good things that we brought with us for the boat builders and the sailors and the fishermen.
Sure.
Yeah.
You guys, you brought sails and stuff down for everybody there. And I understand you also were doing, is it an art program down there?
Yes. Now that came later. That was in the next trip that this is about. And
I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah, that's okay. But after after spending time on the north coast of Haiti, I got a hold of a free cruising guide to Haiti by a guy named Frank Virgentino, a wonderful guy, who's got a boat called Raffles Light, which he just recovered. It's about a 60-foot catch that was stolen, pirated out from about 5 years ago, and he just got it back this year. So he's back in the saddle.
So he found it?
He found it and got it back. Yeah, it had been stripped out and, not exactly cared for, but he got it back. But anyway, Frank said, if you like, I called him up. I said, this cruising guide is wonderful, and told him we'd been to Labadie. He said, well, if you like Labadie, you want to go to Île Vache. So we said, okay, we're on. And in 2014, we loaded up the boat with all sorts of supplies and got a bunch of friends together, and off we went from Martha's Vineyard, you can see on the map here, to Bermuda, to Haiti, to Île Vache, where we spent a couple of months, and then on to a quick stop in Jamaica, and then to Cienfuegos, Cuba, and then around the west end of Cuba and up through the Bahamas and up to one stop in Beaufort, and then home.
Well, it's quite a trip.
So that was quite a winter of adventures. And
yeah, I
bet. So this is a little more detail. So Île Vache, I don't have a pointer here, but it's down on the bottom left-hand corner. It's right off of Lake Hai, which is.
Now remember, we can see your mouse, so if you want to move your mouse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So there's Lake Hai, and there's Île Vache right there. A little tiny island just off the southwest corner of Haiti. And here it is in a little larger picture.
Looks great.
So that's where we headed, and well, here's a picture of Charlotte on a nice summer day in Vineyard Sound,
Woo.
skipping along, just having a beautiful sail. And but the day we left for Haiti was the last day of November, and it wasn't quite like this. Here's our motley crew. Brad Abbott on the left, who's our partner in the boatyard, myself, and then Ian Ridgway, standing behind us, Zoli Clark to my left, and Malcolm Boyd. And that was our group of vagabonds to get this vessel south.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now in the background, you can see the schooner Juno, 65-foot schooner that we designed and built at Gannon and Benjamin. But this is about Charlotte. So here we are, the last day of November.
Oh,
Pam took this picture off of West Chop as we went heading down in a snowy, cold, northerly, and because she thought, well, maybe this will be the last picture. But anyway,
well,
we
this is why I
surprised
live
her.
in Annapolis. God, it looks awful.
But it was a rough day. But you know, when as I told my shipmates, better a cold norther than a warm southerly. And we just flew down to
Yeah.
Bermuda, arriving in just under 4 days. There's one of our sunsets at sea, just this magnificent sea and sky, and it's just such a beautiful place to
That's an
be.
amazing picture.
So here we are, before you know it, warm weather back in Bermuda. There's Charlotte tied to the customs wharf. And on the bottom left is our friend Stevie Hollis, who's a sailmaker in Bermuda. He owns Ocean Sails, and he's such a wonderful guy and a wonderful friend. And Parrot isn't very friendly, but Stevie's a pretty good guy. And then that's the fort in St. George's on the right. And we spent a few days there, visiting, and we were lucky, didn't have any real repairs to do. So we, after a few days, we filled up with water and fuel and food and
How'd you
took off
win?
again.
Yeah, I've checked in there.
And here we are about 6 days later, approaching Hispaniola, in the balmy trade winds of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, we got the dinghy lashed on deck and everything snugged down for an ocean trip. And we're just rolling along the coast of Haiti here down the Windward Passage.
Mm-hmm.
There's the very mysterious and majestic coast of Haiti off to port. It's really, it's quite a spectacular
Really?
island. It's very mountainous. Some of the mountains, when we get further down near near Ile Vache, the mountains on the main island are close to 10,000 feet. It's
Oh my
really
God.
spectacular.
Well, I love this picture.
So here we are down in, we'd sailed down through the Windward Passage and we'd then headed east up to Ile Vache. And we come across a lone fisherman. Now, he's in a dugout canoe, just a hollowed out log. This is some of the most primitive and beautiful boat building
Yeah.
you can imagine, and the
Well,
most ancient.
more importantly, he's sailing, isn't he?
He's sailing and he's standing up. And these things, you want your hair parted down the middle. I mean, these things are so tippy. I took several rides in them, and man, I don't know how he's staying
It's
upright.
insane.
And
know,
then they
I-
cast nets and haul nets in over the side too.
God, I've been sailing 40 years. I've never seen anybody sailing with a palm leaf.
Yeah, paddling with a palm branch. So there we are, anchored in Ile Vache, and with the mountains of Haiti in the background.
Oh, wow.
Here's the local ferry, in case you want to get over to Les Cayes, to the main island. there's a few of these with a sputtering outboard on the back that you hope will keep running the 7 miles it takes to get to the mainland. And you will not find a life jacket, guarantee you. But there's a boatload of happy Haitians, and they're heading over to Lake Hai to do their day's shopping or whatever. And the Haitians are very religious. This one has Dieu plus fort, God is strong, God is the strongest. Now here's our friend Sammy. We had contacted him before we sailed down here through our friend Frank, who wrote the guidebook, and he said, you got to contact Sammy, he'll take care of you. So we had been exchanging emails for months, and then when we finally arrived, we were looking around this anchorage, wondering when we would see Sammy, and sure enough, he came paddling out. He came paddling out in this biblical craft, paddling with a palm branch. He's got an actual paddle in this picture, but he had a palm branch in one hand paddling, and in his other hand, he was holding a cell phone. There's this confluence of millennium that is just so incredible that you see. They have a few solar panels. There's no electricity and no cars on Isla Vache.
And no
Wow.
No running water, of course. So it's very primitive and very beautiful. But they do have cell phones and they have the internet. So Digicel is a big presence down there.
Wow.
So if you have a solar panel, you can charge your phone or your computer, and but the water is clean and beautiful, and this harbor was spectacular. Here we are, we got the awning up, and these kids would come by every day. They're just the sweetest young boys, and now they're in their 20s. We've watched them grow up, and they're great kids.
Like they're eating sandwiches.
And we make them sandwiches, yeah, and invite them aboard, and Pam gives them some art lessons and some toothpaste, and they offer to help, and sometimes we get them to scrub the deck or something, but they're just really friendly, fun kids to have around.
Oh, look at that picture. That's beautiful.
There's a kid, yeah, and there's the anchorage. It's not terribly crowded, as you see.
Yeah.
And we were about one of 5 boats. That young boy on the right is Bapu, who is now a tailor, and we just sent him down a sewing machine.
Oh my God.
He's become a tailor, and he's got his own little business going.
Good for him.
It's great to see them thrive, considering the lack of opportunity and the poverty and everything else. It's really wonderful when you can see some of them do well.
No, you bet. Ooh, Main Street.
Main Street. This is a beautiful sandy trail that goes along the waterfront. And there's Zoli, my good friend, and who sailed down with us. He's now one of our best shipwrights. He was a pretty young kid there, but now he's a first-class shipwright and a wonderful guy. And he's taking a little rest on the bench after a hard day's work, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a shot of the anchorage, as you can see. Charlotte anchored there, and there's a couple of other little boats tucked around the corner. And then here's a local boat, and they build these plank-on frame boats right on the beach. Their only tools are a machete and an axe, and maybe a hammer or two, and a saw. But they're primitive, but they work, and they go out and they catch their fish, and here they are. Here's one with a sailing rig. And then if you look on this picture, there's a pile of rocks, these white rocks over here on the beach, and they harvest these rocks from the sea. They wade out, and 4 or 5 feet down are these wonderful limestone rocks, and sometimes they have to split them up to get them out of there, but they drag them up and they use them to build their houses.
And they all come in dugouts.
And they dugouts or the little sloops, yeah.
Man,
And they use the sand. They take the sand from the water's edge. They won't use the sand that's up high because it's too coarse. So they're very particular. They take the sand from the water's edge or even in the water, and then they have to rinse it, let it rain, and get it rinsed.
Make a pile, I'm sure.
Yeah. And they put those in piles, and then they wheel them out to wherever they're building their house. And if it's up a steep hill or up a ravine someplace, they get a donkey to do the heavy lifting, but they get it done. And the houses are nice and they're well built. And
that sounds amazing.
yeah. Here's an old work boat here that is just up for maintenance.
We're doing a little careening.
Careening, yeah. One of the things we want to do here, and we've been trying for years and haven't yet to succeed, but we're hoping to put a little marine railway on this beach so the locals can haul their own boats and also haul boats that come from, Florida or Cuba or other places.
Ask him if he's recording.
So Pam's asking if you're recording this.
Oh, I'm afraid I am.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
no, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Right.
Good, good. All right.
So
Well,
say
keep
something-
the
say something
delete button
interesting, Pam.
handy in case, Yeah, anyway, this is the
No bad
waterfront.
language.
Yeah, this is the waterfront.
Wow, a marine railway would be crazy. So it'd be donkey powered.
It could be, we could have a little generator to run a winch, or it could be donkey powered. When we were living in Spain many years ago, there was a wonderful railway on the island of Ibiza. And
Yeah.
we used to watch the boats. They would haul out big boats, schooners, 60, 70-foot schooners.
No.
And it just, for a winch, it was a capstan with 4 poles through it and 4 horses going around in
Really?
a circle.
Just walk around in a circle.
Put a bag of oats over their muzzle and
Way
off
to
they
go.
go. And they would haul big boats. It would take, sometimes hours to get a big vessel out, but
Really? Wow.
pretty good carbon footprint.
Man.
There's a local boat, just sweet lines. And they build these things out of whatever they can find kicking around. They don't use a lot of trees. They just usually find fallen trees. And for sails, whatever they can find. Sometimes it's an old tarpaulin or a castaway sail off of a yacht. But they make do. They're the most resourceful people I've ever met. There's one cruising along with a sprit mainsail and a jib and beautiful palm trees in the background. Here we are on a Sunday morning. Kids are all ready for church. Girls in their white dresses. Young boy there, nice clean clothes. And they're the lucky ones in Haiti, these Île kids.
Yeah.
They don't have the struggles that they get in the city of Port-au-Prince and Cap-Haïtien.
They still need.
But here they are sitting on the edge of Sammy's dugout, which is a
great
hollowed out
picture.
mango tree.
Oh, great picture. There you go.
Now here's a working boat. Here's a cargo sloop that came in from who knows where. It might have come from Les Cayes or from Cap-Haïtien or Port-au-Prince or Jacmel, and they rounded up and anchored near us. And if you look at what they have to deal with, this is, the spars are all crooked and the sails
Wow.
are just
It's all
patched up.
branches.
And,
Wow.
but they get places, and they have no motors, no compass, no nothing. They just go and figure it out, and most of them come back. Here's a beautiful little sloop heading out to the fishing grounds. And yeah, so you can see when we bring old sails down for these people,
Yeah.
our old sails look really new compared to the stuff they're used to. So they're very grateful, and we love helping them out because
This
they have
is a
nothing.
picture from the
Absolutely.
1700s, it feels like.
Yeah, or 100s.
Or the 100s. Yeah.
I mean, this is, yeah. Now here's another cargo sloop that came in, even better. Heavy laden seas, way below our down on our marks, and they just sailed. We were anchored right where the picture's taken, and they sailed right by us and just sailed right up onto the beach and started flinging off drums of cargo. And they dropped the sail, but they didn't exactly.
They certainly dropped the
Pay a
sail.
lot of attention to detail. But look at that cloth. That's a canvas sail. You can tell by look at the beautiful folds in that cloth. I mean, it's an absolutely exquisite.
It's a wonderful shape.
The shape and the way it just naturally falls down.
Yeah, you bet.
We gave these guys a box of rigging, which they were most grateful for.
Over the moon.
Old shackles and some
Yeah.
tools and but look at the mast on that vessel.
They painted part of it blue.
Yeah, why not? They had some blue paint.
I don't know about sail ties.
Well, they do, but they were just in to unload and then they'd take off again. So this is a country that's very poor, and the people are just, the richness is in the people. It's just really something. Yeah. God is good. Kibandai, Creole. Another beautiful. But there's our anchorage.
God, it's lovely.
Not too busy.
Yeah, lovely.
And just quite pristine, really.
Yeah.
Here's a little sloop that my friend Bill Montgomery had the locals build. That's Charlotte, just in the background there, and a couple of other yachts. But I can't remember how much he paid for this, but it's about a 23-foot sloop, and they took a little extra care to get the shear really nice and to smooth the planking a little more than usual. They might have even had a plane.
Oh my God.
Painted her up nicely, and she's a nice sailboat. Bill uses her a lot.
It's got such a great look. Yeah, I love it.
It's a good looking boat, and the shapes are all taken from the local trees. There's a few of them anchored off the beach.
I love the furling.
Yeah, they wrap the sails around the spars. It's simple and pretty seaworthy.
Mm-hmm.
There's some more, and there's a fisherman in the foreground mending his net. So there's a lot of net mending going on because they don't buy new nets. They just keep mending what they have.
Yeah.
And we bring supplies for the fishermen too. We bring line and
They make the nets.
hooks and anything useful.
They weave the nets.
Yeah, they
themselves.
make these nets. Everything is made on the island.
By hand.
This guy, he's the dugout canoe builder.
My goodness.
And I asked to take a picture of him sitting in one of his dugouts, and that's one he built probably when he was a much younger man, but
oh my God,
he's still in service, and he's very proud of it. So that's what that's what these guys do. Now these are some real boat builders here. This is a brand new boat coming together. So you can see it's all planked up, and there's a proud ship right there.
he looks great. Looks better than your builders.
He does. Oh, they're all much better dressed, and they're well groomed and very proud. So there's the boat, and she's framed out of natural crooks. So the crooks kind of determine the shape. They look around for the right tree with the right bend in the branch for different, for certain areas of the hull, and then they spike them together with some old galvanized nails, and before you know it, you got a boat.
Yeah.
They caulk them, and there's the whole crew there. They were building 2 boats in this little place, and it's pretty nice work.
I love the supports.
Yeah, there's the transom, good looking transom.
Yeah.
The rudder will hang right off that stern post.
Yeah.
Here's the caulker. wonderful guy. I brought him a bunch of cotton caulk for caulking, which was a big step up from the usual
What is,
rags they found laying around.
what do they normally use for caulk if they don't have cotton?
Well, rags or anything, yeah.
Yeah.
So he was really happy to have these, and I brought him some caulk and irons. And
Yeah.
he's a good boat builder, this guy. There's a fisherman mending his net. This is,
You can even see the hole in the net down a little bit.
you see the hole, and he'll have that mended, and he'll be off casting it the next morning probably,
Yeah.
because that's what keeps them alive. They've got to catch fish to eat. There's a lot of farming on the island, a lot of animals. Ilavash means cow island, so there's cows, there's horses, pigs,
Yeah.
and chickens, and goats. It's and lots of arable land. There's not the water situation is not great. They have shallow wells that they dig by hand, but
Oh,
they
boy.
run out occasionally, and the rain is not always reliable, but they
Yeah.
make do.
You can't just go to the 7-Eleven, huh?
No. Here we are. That boat that you saw earlier that was careened, we're getting her.
That's a big one.
Yeah, she's a big vessel, a real cargo vessel there. And they even got me helping out there. That's me on the right. And this guy here has got a line around a tree to check the roll. So when we roll her on her other side, she doesn't go crashing down. But
That's a great picture.
anyway, this is where we want to put a marine railway. These guys would be in heaven if we could haul these boats out and just have them sitting there
You bet.
to work on. Now, this guy came sailing by us. We were at anchor, and
Wow.
I've seen some tattered sails in my life, but this boat took the prize. And he sailed by us, and I called out to him and said, "Hey, come back here." I mean, look at this patchwork of
Woo!
three men aboard.
I think he's got his mother's bedspread in there.
Could well be. Yeah, she probably doesn't know about it. I yelled out to come back, and they came back, and he grabbed a hold of our tender, and we passed him a couple of bags of sails, and
Oh, nice.
I think that made their day, and it'll hopefully get them out to the fishing grounds again.
That's
Well, local kids, if we needed, bread or mangoes or pineapples or bananas or whatever, we would just ask one of the kids to go get it. And what they really like to do was leave their dugouts with us and hop in our skiff and row our tender. And boy, there was one kid, Simon, who you could see him tearing across the harbor, just having the greatest time, because they've
Was he
never
using
rowed
oars?
anything like that.
Was he using oars or was he using your outboard?
We have no outboard.
Even better.
Yeah, no, just oars. So, I don't think I'd trust him with an outboard, but he learned, he figured out the rowing instantly and just
Oh, God.
had the greatest time. But we would swim off the boat every day. It was
Oh, how
good,
lovely.
clean water. And
That, I've got a little interruption for you here. It looks kind of nice. We have hi from Anne and George Conklin's daughters.
oh,
And Mimi.
Holly and Mimi.
Uh-huh. And Mimi's sailing husband, Skip.
Oh, wow. How
Skip and
great.
Mimi have been in Haiti over 8 years working in the mountains and sending you and Pam love.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Wow, that is the greatest
awesome.
news. And please, maybe please send us your contact. We'll get you out on the boat next time we're in Ilavash.
Oh, it sounds wonderful. Hey, John Edgington asked you if language was an issue.
Language? No, I mean, our French is pretty good, and they're very tolerant of my French. But I can speak reasonably well, and they all learn French in school. They speak Creole amongst themselves, but they understand French and speak it. So it's not a problem. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Any more questions, or shall we move on?
Oh, let's keep moving. I'll just
Okay.
pop them in when I think it would make you feel good.
Yeah, well, that was really good to hear that. I want to hear more about where they're working. Now, there's a wonderful orphanage on Ile Vache out at Madame Bernard, which is the capital of the island. And here's some kids. The orphanage was started by this woman on the left with the dark glasses, Sister Flora, who was a French Canadian who came down to Haiti when she was, I think, a teenager.
Yeah.
And she was so taken by the people and by the struggle that she started an orphanage. And now I think there's about 80 kids in the orphanage. She also started a school and a hospital.
Man.
She's a nun, yeah,
Yeah.
but a wonderful woman. And we bring her supplies and sometimes just cold hard cash, which they can always use. But the kids are, they're so sweet, and many of them are handicapped, and it's really, it's a tough situation.
Yeah, you bet.
There's some of them there.
She's the only orphanage on Ile Vache that will
Yeah.
take a handicapped kids.
Yeah, she'll take anyone.
Wow, that's a beautiful picture of those kids.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are, Pam.
Here's Pam doing a little art class with some kids, and this, yeah, Pam has started an art program, a music program, a couple of community gardens. We've worked on the water quality, helped with
6 acres of community garden.
6 acres of community gardens. And recently we helped buy a piece of property that's full of fruit trees. And so every little bit helps.
Oh, you bet.
And we've had good friends donate musical instruments and art materials and so forth. In Haiti, you don't need a huge amount to make a difference.
That's a big deal.
Around here on Martha's Vineyard, every project, whether it's the hospital or the Y or the new museum or the library, no, everything's, well, it's 40 million, no, it's 50 million.
Yeah.
Haiti, if you got a few $1,000, you can do real stuff.
That's important.
And, we've also helped with the water quality, and with the, we helped rig up a solar powered pump that would pump the water from a well up to the top of a hill to a header tank. And then we ran pipes down to the village. So
wow,
they have little fountains in the village. So the poor women don't have to climb up this mountain and then load up these plastic buckets with water and then carry them down on their head.
oh God.
This is hard stuff. I don't think I can pick one up and put it on my head.
Yeah. Would this be a good time to talk a little bit about Pam's efforts and her organization?
Yes, let me turn you over to her. She's right next to me. Do you want to sit here?
No, you stay there.
Yeah.
Since we're seeing these kids, you can tell us about the kids, but Pam, you also run a program with here on Martha's Vineyard about art and stuff. And could you tell us a little bit about how it interacts with the kids in Haiti?
Yes, it's called Sense of Wonder Creations, and it's a nonprofit organization that blends the creative arts with helping to educate young people to appreciate cultural diversity, care for the environment, and do local and global community service. So
this was really
the Haiti Fund is part of the Sense of Wonder program.
Yeah.
And so we do fundraising sometimes with the kids. They
Yeah, so
I
this
have
really fits
projects
right
for
in
them.
with what you
I
do.
give them ideas for doing fundraising. We do walks to raise money, and people pledge so much per mile. And I have art shows in the spring, and some of the kids sell their artwork,
Oh, that's great.
and people give donations.
And
Paper
what an
project.
important thing
And
to
then
do.
we do workshops during the year, and all the money, have a lot of different crafts for people to make
Yeah.
things, and all the money goes to Haiti. Or I also have a Uganda fund.
Oh, my gosh.
And we did a fundraiser for Ukraine too, and last spring, an empty bowls event, and raised $42,000. That was
My goodness.
very exciting.
That's
It was
wonderful.
a big response from the island.
Yeah. Well, it kind of fits right in with your talents and abilities, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I love that. What are we looking at here, guys?
This is the
Yeah.
orphanage, and these are some of the handicapped kids, and quite severely handicapped, as you can see. But Sister Flora will turn no one away, and they do the best they can with very little to feed them and clothe them and clean them and give them a place to sleep. And it's really touching to see. I remember going in there one day, and there was a young Canadian guy sitting in a room with these kids were sprawled out on the floor. They were all cripples.
Yeah.
He was sitting there with his guitar, playing his guitar and singing to these kids.
Oh, what a
It
memory.
makes you weep. And,
Yeah.
he would spend the day there and then go home, go back to his boat. I mean, it's quite touching.
That's, there are some beautiful people in the world.
Oh, boy.
And we don't hear about them.
You see a lot of them in this country. Yeah.
I'll bet.
Yeah, we have another friend in, I'm going to just advance one frame here to see where we are. Oh, here we are. Here's Pam doing an art class with the kids on Elavash.
Yeah.
And, she comes in and opens up a box of colored pencils, and these kids their eyes are popping out of their heads.
How cool is that?
It's
Oh,
just
wonderful.
something. They don't have anything. They don't have any materials.
Yeah.
They don't even have paper. So this is pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were able to raise money to send them guitars. They have acoustic guitars now. They've got something like 12 or 14 guitars and keyboards and conga drums.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
also we sent them with a friend, we sent them drum kits. They've got a few drum kits now. And and we also cover the expense of lessons for them.
My goodness. Next time you get there, the island's going to be rocking.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, they don't have any of this on the whole island, and this is the first time.
Yeah.
And now they actually have a band that I can send you
very
a
fun.
video of them playing. They sound
Very
really
fun.
good.
Very fun.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place. There's some more.
Oh, my goodness.
A happy little artist there.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. There is this wonderful community center in Kaikak, which is the village where the anchorage is, where we go. It's also called Port Morgan because it's where the pirate Morgan had his ships.
Is that right?
And it's full. So there are pirate ships wrecked all around the place, and really, no one's done much diving on them. I'm sure there's some good stuff there.
Yeah.
And this is on the left is our friend Roberta Kern, who came and she met us down there, and she's a singer and she goes all over the world singing, and that's how she makes friends and entertains children and gets kids to sing with her.
Yeah, I bet.
Here we have a little helper helping us pull the skiff up the beach. Something
That's
a dwarf or something.
Oh, you've just earned a heart in the chat window.
Oh, nice. There's a little church on the island. Église Baptiste de Castra. Yeah. So they're very religious. A lot of
Yeah.
Baptists and evangelicals, lots of singing. We went to one. We have a friend who has a little church on the other side of the island, and we went to one of the services, and it was rocking.
Was it really?
All the kids were on one side.
Yeah.
Those kids were so well behaved. I mean,
Crazy.
when I went to Sunday school, it wasn't like that. These kids were well dressed, and they did not get out of line.
Man.
And I was sitting next to a Haitian woman who was quite concerned about her relationship to God, I guess, or to someone. And she had a 12-penny nail that was driven through her thumb.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And she was, gesticulating and very devoutly.
Oh my goodness.
But I don't know how that happened. I didn't get involved with
Gee whiz.
the provenance of all that, but she was singing up a storm, that woman.
Tough conversation in French.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And she was young, had a very young child with her.
She just had a fight with her husband.
Yeah. Pam said she had a fight with her husband. Oh well. That happens everywhere.
With a knife.
Yeah.
And there's a little Haitian house with a nice bougainvillea tree in front.
You bet.
But they're well built, these houses. They really that's all done with the local limestone, and they stucco the outsides. Here's a few little shots of there's a big old cow there, and
Yeah.
pigs, and another cow, and geckos, and horses. There's lots of animals. This is the market in Madame Bernard, which is the capital, and everything's outside, strewn on the ground. And of course, with no refrigeration, if you want fish, you buy dried fish because it's out drying in the sun, just like it's like being on the Sea of Galilee in the year 1. It's pretty amazing. But very lively place, and everyone's chatting away and selling their wonderful produce and delicious food.
Look at the colors. My goodness.
Yeah, the colors are great. Yeah. This is the parking lot. There are no cars, but when you bring your donkey, and those saddles carry the cargo, those are wooden saddles, and they park the donkeys in the shade while
Baggage carriers.
yeah.
Well, you don't want a hot donkey when you get back from shopping.
No, the donkeys don't want to be hot. It's bad enough yeah. They did their job. They deserve a little shade. But that's what they use to move cargo on land.
Woo-hoo.
Now we're back on the mainland. This is Lake Kai, the town that's just across from Ilavash, the closest city. It's about 7 miles away. And they like their paint. They like to paint things up pretty well.
Oh, so they've even painted the tires.
Yeah, why not? Oh yeah, it's really wonderful.
Oh, that's great.
Everything is done by hand. All the signs are painted by hand. Everything. So they're very creative, and they're very artistic. Bondi Benny, God is good.
Thank you.
And that Kai, POP, that's from Le Kai to Port-au-Prince. That's where that truck goes. That's its route. And they load them up.
They are loaded up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a little there's a little wagon there converted to carry people.
It was like a home build.
It does. A little camper.
Yeah,
Plenty of gear on the roof too.
you bet.
There's a more conservative bus with just the voix des anges, the voice of the angels.
Yeah, yeah.
So now this is our friend Sammy's part of his family compound, and this is the kitchen.
Oh, nice.
All the cooking is done outside over a charcoal fire. They make their own charcoal. These big mounds, you see them up in the hills smoking away for days.
Yeah.
But that's the most efficient way to use what wood they have. So they use charcoal. And this, whatever this contraption is, must have floated in from somewhere, and they rigged it up as sort of a cover over their kitchen, outdoor kitchen. But we had a wonderful time. This is one of their houses, and we were invited to a Sunday lunch, and boy, it was nice. I mean,
Yeah.
really good food. And
This is Sammy's
Lovely.
compound.
Sammy's compound, yeah. He's got a couple of sisters and a couple of brothers, and his parents is excuse me, his father's a fisherman, his mother's a seamstress. Very talented people,
Yeah.
hardworking. And there they are getting ready for the big Sunday dinner.
Whew,
Yeah,
sure is different.
yeah. That's his sister on the right, one of his sisters, a lovely woman. And on the left, they're cooking up some plantain, it looks like, over the fire. This is Abaca Bay. If you go over the hill from Kaikak or Port Morgan, you climb over this hill, and down the other side is this exquisite bay with a beautiful beach and a little hotel tucked in the far corner there, which you can hardly see, but it's got a few little bungalows on the beach and a nice, kind of open air dining room, and just a beautiful little place. And we would often walk over there at the end of the day and swim and relax in the hotel dining room and have a couple of drinks, and
Oh, it sounds
occasionally
wonderful.
even get the internet service.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. But
No one stays there.
very few people there. Now there's no tourism at all.
I
No.
can believe it.
Places are empty. And that's a little village down on the east end of the island. Beautiful little place. Local sloops anchored out. And
Those classic
see
boats. Yeah.
smoke coming out from a charcoal mound. And this is another beautiful, long, vacant beach. Nothing there. No houses, no nothing. Just gorgeous white sand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a brochure picture.
Yeah. And there we are at sunset, saying goodbye to Haiti.
Hmm.
So I think that finishes up the Haiti portion, and from Haiti we made a quick trip over to Jamaica, then went to Cuba to Cienfuegos, and got
Yeah.
a few shots of that if you're all up for a little more.
Well, the great thing is we can't tell who's asleep, so let's keep going.
Yeah, right.
The what?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
So now we're in Havana. Now we're in
Nice.
old Havana, and there's Jose Marti, one of their great revolutionaries and poets, with the magnificent government building in the background. Havana is a trip. I mean, it's just sensational. The architecture and it's nothing's been touched since 1959, including the automobiles. So it's very authentic. Yeah.
It's also very beautiful architecturally.
It's beautiful architecture, and a lot of it has been restored by
Hmm.
the Canadian government and by UNESCO and the World Bank. So it's not all crumbling away. Some of it's really been beautifully restored.
Yeah.
This is a main square in Havana,
Love the sculpture.
and this sculpture is extraordinary. When I saw that, I said, there's some pretty progressive thinking going on in this country. So this is not your typical Latin American bravado macho art. This is
Well,
it's a close up.
who thinks of sticking a naked woman on a rooster?
A naked woman on a rooster holding a giant fork with her head shaved and shoes on.
You tell me.
This is proudly displayed in one of the main squares in Havana. The school kids all play around this thing. It's a remarkable piece of art. And, so it shows you that the Cuban, the Cuban authorities are quite willing to have progressive
Yeah.
art and sculpture and music. They're just a little behind on the government side of it. And there's the kids going to school in their uniforms and
Oh,
typical street, paved with stone, very clean. And this one, I think this is in Cienfuegos, isn't it? These are the
Yes, yes.
yeah. This is Cienfuegos, a little city on the south coast where we were anchored for a long time.
no.
And
We got a taxi stand here.
taxi stand, yep. Yep. There's one ready to go. Off they go.
Oh,
This is the theater in Cienfuegos, which has been beautifully restored. It's a
Yeah.
magnificent building.
it was lovely.
And they're open every night, and they have two prices. There's one for tourists, which is, maybe $10, and one for locals, which is like 25 cents.
Nice,
It's good.
nice.
Now we're back in Havana, and there's the Capitol building under reconstruction. It's getting cleaned. You can see all the scaffolding up there, but it's a magnificent building.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cuba's interesting.
I bet.
Being a good communist country, they claim, that everyone is working. Whereas in Haiti, it's like 90% unemployment.
Yeah.
The difference is in Haiti, everyone is working. In Cuba, nobody's working. So it's a bit of a paradox. But it's absolutely true. In Haiti, everyone is working.
Yeah, man. Well, you got to survive.
You got to stay alive.
Yeah.
But in Cuba, we didn't see a lot of employment.
It looks like the statue's reaching out for another statue. It's crazy.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Ian and Bo. Ian sailed down with us, and Bo met us down there at Cienfuegos. It was really friendly, wonderful, small city.
Yeah. Did you find a lot of Americans are now down there?
Very few,
Yeah.
very few. More Europeans. Same with Haiti.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, very few Americans. And now we were there, and this was a really good time to be there. These were the Obama years.
Yeah.
And Barack had announced his intentions to lift the embargo.
Hmm.
It never happened because Congress would never do it. But the fact that he said he was thinking about it really lifted the whole country. And when we sailed into Cienfuegos with our American ensign flying and came up, and they warmly greeted us and
Oh,
said,
it's wonderful.
come on in, brought us into the customs dock, and And then the customs officials came aboard and we sat down below in the main salon
Oh,
and
a great memory.
pulled out all the ship's papers and they said, so where are you coming from? And when we said Haiti, they all said, oh, wait a minute here. And they got out their thermometers and, you know,
They
but
said, hey, nobody works over there.
yeah, right. Yeah. Right. But once we
Yeah,
passed the test, then they were very good to us.
That's just great.
We really had a good time everywhere. We would, if we needed to change money,
Yeah.
the place in town here, it was all black market. And if you wanted to change money, you'd go and you'd knock on a door and go through a back room, and there'd be this guy sitting in this little corner with big piles of money around him. And it was really fun, and they would give you a good deal.
Yeah, that's great.
Even in the airport, when we flew back at one point, and in the airport I needed to change some money, so I went to the cambios, the official
Yeah, sure. Exchange.
bank right there in the airport, and there was a policeman standing right next to it with a rifle,
Oh,
as you often see in these countries, and I was sort of haggling with the person in the cambios, and and after a while, the policeman nudged me. He said, "Come on over here." He said, "I'll change your money for you."
no way.
And
No
he gave me
way.
a much better deal. So
That's hysterical.
yeah,
Oh, God.
Some pictures of the car.
there should be some pictures of the cars.
Oh,
Oh,
there
here
they-
we
there they are,
go.
there they are.
Yeah, we got some Chevys. There's a
Yeah,
56 Ford, and
We hear about these cars, but we don't really see them in real life very often.
they are operating and
Yeah.
driving around that whole country. We would,
Yes.
when we were in Cienfuegos, to go to the beach we liked, the Playa Luna, we would just flag down one of these, some 49 Plymouth and
convertible.
a convertible,
Yeah.
preferably, and pile in. We had our kids down there, the whole family down there, and we would
Oh,
go
God.
driving off in these things.
And we got some classic fins going on down there.
And they fabricate all the parts
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah, they make all their own parts because they can't get anything. They're really resourceful. But it's highly entertaining. It's one of the easiest places to travel in the world, I think. Cuba's probably the safest place in our hemisphere.
Really?
Oh yeah, and I mean a lot safer than Florida or
Well, that goes without saying.
yeah. No, this is
Oh, yeah. in
they
America.
we spoke with young women, young attractive women who said they can walk on any street in Havana at any time of night with
Wow.
no fear. There's no crime,
Oh,
because if there is, they're put away forever.
Oh, yeah.
So that there's no drug scene. There's no. It's really
really?
it's a great place to travel and have fun.
Mm.
And a good old Land Rover.
Yeah.
Here's a couple.
Oh, look at those guys.
Various states of repair.
They are classics. Look at that.
Yeah, they have great pride, and they really take good care of these things, and they use them.
Man, these are some oldies.
Yeah.
Oh, God, look at that.
Nice. It's a Buick, I think.
With yellow.
My wife Diane says she had one of those.
Yeah,
Is it
Sure.
Buick or-
Yellow.
yeah,
Oh, that's so great.
yeah.
Love the convertible.
This is Cienfuegos, the government building in Cienfuegos. This is actually French colonial, this town, Cienfuegos, and it's beautiful, beautiful. It's much smaller than Havana and very lovely, great restaurants, very inexpensive,
Oh,
nice anchorage. Yeah, we had Charlotte there for a couple of months.
wow.
That's the entrance to the town. Maybe that's the French influence.
Oh,
The Mini Arc de Triomphe.
Right.
And now we're back in Havana. That's the Opera House.
Look at that. Looks like a wedding cake.
Oh my gosh, it's a spectacular building. And this is where they have the ballet and the opera. You know, it's very sophisticated stuff. And again, they have two prices for tickets for the locals and for tourists,
Very nice.
which is how it should be.
I'm surprised.
There it
about
is.
the traffic.
There it is, getting ready to
Oh,
go to the ballet.
isn't that pretty? Look at that.
Yeah. So I think that's about it.
Wow. Well, Nat,
Is
Pam,
anyone still awake?
oh, Diane's awake. We're good. We're good. I want to give you a big hand on this, man. This is so
This is
great.
fun. And if anyone has any questions, we can.
Yeah, it looks
Ryan
like
answered.
Chris Lundberg has raised his hand, and yeah, how to fix that, make that happen. Chris Lundberg, can you type over in the either the chat or the Q&A, and we'll get you pumped in there? Yeah, Nat, hit your stop share so we can see you full screen again, and we'll knock a couple things down and get a nicely done there. Yay, way to go. And let's get back to where we are.
Yeah, hitting stop share is quite a major accomplishment for me.
Well, I have to say the two of you got me a little scared tonight.
Yes.
Right.
We were working the bugs out.
Power.
Yeah, at 2 minutes to 8, we're 7, we're working the bugs out.
Yeah.
Well, we've got Frank McKee says, nicely done to you. Thank you, Frank. Chris Lundberg is waving and saying thank you. Priscilla Travis says the inspiring tour. Thank you, Priscilla. She's a great gal. And I got an excellent, this was great, insightful pictures were wonderful. Way to go there. And Roberta Kieran says she remembers it well.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Roberta, who you saw the
Yeah.
picture of
Can you see
singing.
can you see the chat side? Can you see the chat?
Where
There's
does
a little
that?
button
do
around,
it.
kind of next to
There
screen
it
share.
is.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, click that and you'll be able to read them too.
Yeah.
You'll be able to see. LEP says she was in Haiti and worked with some of the villages, and ISO met with some friends who sailed to Haiti but never had this beautiful show. So
Oh,
there you go.
well, glad you enjoyed it,
Yeah.
and Mimi Conklin and Holly, if you're there too, love to hear what you've been doing down there. It sounds wonderful.
It does. Now, do you have any plans to go back anytime?
Oh yeah.
Well, tell us
Yep.
about that.
It's the last few years. Well, we were there in 2020, and that was our last trip because then things got difficult. And it wasn't the COVID that was the problem. They actually were fine with the COVID. They, their
Yeah.
immune systems are so strong that
Yeah.
no one, and they all got COVID, of course, because no one has a mask. No
Well,
one.
they may
They
not
say they
even
only.
known it. Yeah.
I don't know if they got it.
The only time they wear a mask is for Carnival,
Yeah.
but they're just such strong constitutions that they didn't have a problem.
has
But
the,
they since then there's been an assassination 2 years ago, and now there's no government, and the main island of Haiti is really dangerous, especially around Port-au-Prince.
Yeah.
It's run by drug lords. It's really been a problem. And our friends in Île-à-Vache are suffering too. They just, the prices have gone up 5 or 10-fold for everything.
Yeah.
Food, water, fuel.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a big problem.
Has it spilled over to Île-à-Vache?
Well, the economic downturn they have zero tourism now. The hotels,
Yeah.
the 2 little hotels that were there have shut down.
Wow.
And so there's no money coming in.
Yeah.
There's still a few private yachts that'll sail in from Jamaica or from the States or the Bahamas, but
Mhm. Mhm.
very little. It's sad.
Oh man, I'm watching these comments flip through. It's so great.
Can you make
You
can
guys
you
are so
make copies
great. I
of
love
the
this. This is awesome, huh?
can you make copies of the comments? Can you make a copy
I
for Nat?
Yes, I do think that'll be part of the transcript. So I think we can look at that after we do that.
Oh, great.
But I have to tell you, this is really the best part of my job, is to meet with you guys. And, you know, there are a lot of wonderful, wonderful people in the world, and we don't hear about them. And, you know, you step outside the United States and things are not as bad as we're getting. You know, everybody here, their hair is on fire.
Yeah, yeah,
No, you're right. Most people in the world are really good.
yeah.
And there's a few pathetic exceptions, and some of them happen to be running countries, but most
you bet.
people are really, really good. They just
Yeah.
want
Well, you
have a
know,
little-
Diane and I walked across Spain about 5 years ago, and it was a marvelous thing.
to, oh, I bet. Yeah.
Marvelous, yeah.
No, we've sailed a lot in Spain.
I love this. Pete Thompson says we have plenty of canvas schooner sails from Blackbird from the 1930s.
Oh.
But God, they're in excellent condition if they would be useful for the Haitian sailors. And your
Yeah.
tech let us know. So there you go.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Thanks, Peter. That's awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting close to closing time. Do we have any more questions in the comments? Put them in now or forever hold your peas. All right. Nat, I want to thank you and Pam very much for the time you spent with us. It's really been special. And it is just so great to see this. And I want to thank you all very much for joining us tonight. It's wonderful to be here with you all. We have a lot of really interesting speakers coming up. And I'm trying to get together a quote unquote launch party for Picton Castle soon. And we hope that happens. And, you know, our world is so much bigger. When I talk about our world, I'm talking about the world of boating, cruising, voyaging. It's so much bigger than racing. And racing is a wonderful thing. We love to do it. But there are an awful lot of people out here who are doing wonderful work. And I'm so glad we have a chance to share with you. So with that, my friends, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for your time. And we're going to have a little closeout screen. If anybody has any ideas for who to ask to present in the future, please get those ideas to me. All right, good night, everybody. Hey, you guys were awesome. Thank you very much.
Wow, thanks, Duncan.
You were a great moderator.
Yeah, you
were-
did. Not
you were
only are you
wonderful.
a great IT guy, but
Oh, no, I don't know, man. It was pretty scary.